Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any ladies here today.
How's it going, guys?
Really?
Yeah, good, Matt.
That's good.
Who fucking knows right now? Yeah, so hold on, let me share my screen. We'll get on this narrative. Right, so clearly in range at the moment. Yeah, like there's not a whole bunch else to say apart from that, really. We're either waiting for this high to get taken or this low to get taken, really. You know, everyone traded really well this morning, apart from me deciding that buys weren't a good thing. But yeah, to anyone who took longs, well done. But yeah, like, it's just that whole thing, right, of just playing the edges of the range at the moment. Just wait, like, because over here, right, we had 4H shot here. We've taken out, like, fully the 4H range now. Right? Here, we would be expecting some form of high prices, right? But it's where do we get those higher prices from at the moment, right? Potentially we could see a run on this into something more significant up here. I don't really love any of these, to be honest, so it's more just waiting to see which one reacts. Like, they're all sort of valid and they're all sort of not valid as well. Like this the extreme in this area here would be the better areas to look for me for more shorts if we do end up running this high. But another sort of possible scenario right now is that as we haven't closed above, we could come down, take out this, come into something down here, run all this liquidity, and then continue the 4H pullback, which might be, like, looking at it from sort of a daily perspective, there is the chance that we could see a reasonably significant pullback from here, right? Because we've now failed to create on this side. Well, we've created, but we haven't closed below. So if we get a change of character above here, in theory, this high becomes weak, and then we can see a retrace back up to here, which was the zone I really wanted last week, or the week before. But yeah, that's sort of what I'd be thinking at the moment. Is I want either this high to go to sort of try and figure out what's gone on in here a bit more. I haven't really looked into it yet. Or this low to go to take longs from somewhere within this range down here, basically, this whole sell to buy it. That would basically be my theory. Or, you know, some form of, like, we get a nice shift in 15 and order flow above here somewhere, you know, like New York could well run this high, which it seems like it's doing right now, into potentially this, potentially this. And then have a bit more drop off to take out this liquidity. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one right now, because I'd be expecting, if daily structure is fully going to continue, right, which at the moment could be from anywhere below here, because obviously this isn't a daily high at the moment, we haven't closed below, right? So if daily structure is going to continue, I would have expected some form of, like, liquidity generation down here, right? Like something on 4H pushing down, creating some lows, something like that. But yeah, at the moment it's a little bit unsure. The buyers were really good this morning. I've got on that. Good trading, very good trading. But yeah, that's basically what I'd be saying. Well, what are you guys seeing at the moment? Be interested to hear, because at the moment this is all a little unsure for me.
But she's not though, Keel. She's not.
Right.
Really, it pisses me off that I have like Asian major event.
Yeah, no one want to speak up? No. Okay. Fine.
Would, but I've not looked at the charts all day.
You've not looked at the charts all day?
No.
Why?
Of course, I've got other stuff to do.
You've got other stuff to do? Like what, mate?
Like sort out my psychology. That's what I've got to sort out.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, all right, so like I'll just go over again, right? Basically, we've got this whole 4H range. We have a 4H extreme
what's that
here.
black box? Are you going to let us know what you blacked out?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Come on.
not.
Come on.
That's not happening.
It's better off in the open, that's for sure. You get it off the chest.
This isn't. I'll probably get lynched in the community.
Ah, right. Yeah. Must be bad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what New York Open does, really. That'll be the sort of key to it. Well, you would guess that, or I would guess that as we are in the premium of this range still, we would see some form of New York sell-off. Yeah, without much more to go on than that, just the fact that we run all this liquidity above here, New York will probably need some form of liquidity. So I would guess that we would trade back down from the premium up here somewhere. It's just there's nothing really pretty to trade off. You know, if we look at this time frame, we have some form of interaction over here. We've got this. And this is all looking pretty corrective at the moment, which should suggest that it's going to get run, right? But yeah, a little bit unsure.
Yeah, there is nothing that's jumping out, is there? Really, that, usually there's something that we can identify that you can target, but
yeah, exactly. Like there's normally something a bit cleaner than what we've got right now. Oh, that doji actually looks pretty nice. That reacts to this. That could well be a potential area. Yeah, it's just like the way this is all formed is suggesting that this gets run. Right? Like we're seeing this, but structure isn't agreeing right now, right? Structure is just respecting structure, like respect it didn't close below, well, it hasn't from respected yet. But yeah, that would be my sort of thoughts at the moment, is that we're not massively clean, apart from like this buy this morning was really nice. The sell from up here back down to like TPing down there. But yeah,
Sam, can I just ask a question a second? Yeah, this demander you've got lower down. Why have you picked that area there? Because I've picked the wick of the other candle that actually
16. Like it's the engulfing on 16.
Ah, right, get you. Yeah, it's just on a different time frame. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the whole. Like I'll be keeping an eye on this whole range, basically. Yeah. Right? But depending on the PA we get within there, it'll be like see what we expect. Basically.
Right, fair enough. Yeah, it's the old engulfing thing again, and I'm still not going through every time frame like that, mate, which I need to do, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like if you can't see anything defined on a time frame, just go and check other ones, mate. Like basically. Yeah.
So it's just an habit I need to get into. That's all it is. I'm used to just sticking to my 15 and me.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally just a habit you need to get into.
Yeah.
And continue doing, right? Because it's super important, mate. It's like it just gives you a bit more clarity on where to look at things, right? And not so much where to look at things, but what to look for at different places, right? Like I'll keep an eye on that whole range, but I'd rather see like something visible on a higher time frame rather than like 1M or seconds, right?
Yeah.
But if down here, I'm more likely to be looking at the very low time frames, you know?
Right.
That makes sense.
I've got a quick question, if that's all right.
Of course, mate.
Yeah. Basically, so what I saw, I don't know if you mentioned this in the first couple minutes. I joined a little bit late, but so obviously the H4 made a new low, but the daily and the weekly failed to commit.
Yes,
And
exactly.
obviously they both closed back inside the range quite quickly.
Yeah.
I thought there was a quite high probability of bullish intentions.
Yeah, no, there is, mate. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Is that here we could well see something like this is not closed below, right?
Yeah, it's failed to commit.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, like, so if we get this change character here, right, then likely we will see a run on this high, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, man, you fucking stupid animal, I swear to God. Like,
sorry, Rolly, you can go to sleep. Come on, back to sleep.
yeah, like, and we could still see a sell from here, you know? But yeah, like, anyway. So if we were on daily, right, and we see this change character here, then likely this high is getting taken too, right? And this will probably be some form of a reaction point to pull back into something here to continue that run up, to mitigate something maybe in here, something maybe here, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, what I was sort of saying was the fact that we've changed 4H, like we had a change character here, right? We had another, like a full close above the thingamajig here, right? Like a full close, well, push above the 4H range here.
Yeah.
So now we can expect potentially some form of pullback into the demand area properly, right? And then get a continued push up from here, because if daily structure is going to continue, right? They probably, like, you know, could well be from up here somewhere, but they're probably not going to leave like quite an aggressively formed low there, right? More likely it will get formed slower, right? And as equals, or relative equals, something like that, right? And then we'll see the continued push up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But it's just sort of monitoring, like if we break 4H here, we need to pull back on 4H, right? It's that whole thing we were going over in Zoom yesterday. It's all sort of time frame relevant, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, where that pullback comes from, we don't quite know yet. Yeah, like we just come in and remitigated something here. You know, I doubt this will hold. Doesn't make a bunch of sense to be honest. But it's one of those sort of rangy markets, right? So it's just being a little bit more selective with your POIs, like trade more from the edges of stuff, try not to get too much involved in stuff like, you know, this is a good, like if we're just looking at this range, right? And we just go, well, the range is here to here at this point in time, right? Things from the edges, like here, not this dodgy short I took, but this, you know, these are all the sort of trades you want to be looking at, right? Like trades from the edges at the moment. And now we've sort of got new range, and it's just like it's really failing to commit anywhere at the moment, right? Which is what we want to see. We want to see a bit of impulsivity in the market so that we can start having a bit more relevant information to base our decisions on, you know? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, fire on.
Can you show the 15 minutes, please?
Yep. Still haven't closed the button. But yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
I thought there was a shock, and since price failed to break above this high, what I saw was that this low was weak.
Why would this be a chotch? There's no chotch here. Like a chotch has to take the high and take the low, right? What you've seen here is price come up, do this, right? Do this, and then do this. This isn't a change of character. All right, this is like a break of substructure. A change of character would be this. All right, price comes up, creates a high, creates a low, and then does this. Right?
Yeah, but there were times where we would use like the low of the wick to mark this.
Yeah, if it created something, mate, not like this. Yeah, like it has. If it's like an inside bar or something, right? This is right.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Yeah.
have a low that creates a high, basically, right? Otherwise, you can't, like, because we need to see a demand range, essentially, right? We don't really have a
right.
demand range, no high broken, right? So this is just like a little range push. On lower time frames, yeah, there'd be a change of character, probably, I don't know, 5M something, no, not even 5M, maybe 1M. Yeah, 1M we have like a sort of boss, maybe it's 3M, something like that. But on 15M, that's not bad, right? Like a chotch is where is the change of character? Like this would be a chotch here, right? Because we have a high here, you can see, right? Here we have, like, it's not, yeah, there's other things working against it. Working as a chotch, but yeah, whatever. Like here we have a high, right? A visible high. So this can be our low that goes, because this is the low that creates the high, right? If we've got something like this, we have no low, so, or sorry, we have no high, so we can't create a low. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah.
Thanks, mate.
All right, mate. Still not close to. See, this sort of shit doesn't make any sense to me. It's like now we tested the high twice, not close to above. Like it all just looks a bit fucking ropey, to be honest. But yeah, that's my views on things this morning. I'll probably be staying out until we get something a little bit cleaner, because right now I don't really like the look of anything until we see one of these highs or lows actually go, and we have something a little bit more interesting to look at.
Morning, Sam, mate.
Morning, mate. How you doing?
Good, thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, all good, brother. All good, man.
Good. And like where like prices now, because we're pretty much at the EQ of that 4 hour kind of push down, right? So in terms of like more sells, I'd be probably only confident with seeing another 15-minute chotch down.
Yeah. Like it's say if like New York takes this with aggression or something.
Yeah.
Then I'd probably be happy going, okay, well, maybe what we'll see here is a little pushback like that, something like that, right? Say, or if we take this high, we can start maybe looking and see if we can find anything within here potentially, because this could act as inducement for that sort of thing, or because we break of this inside bar here, right? So the extreme's valid in this case. But yeah, it's all a little bit meh at the moment. But yeah, like that would definitely sell the idea more of shorts to me right now. Like if we take this out, something like that, or if we take this high and do something.
Yeah,
like if we
just basically creating more buy side liquidity with those most recent 2 wicks.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like we could just run this, then give a change of character. Like if I see a 15M chotch anywhere within this range, right, I'm probably going to be pretty happy to say, okay, we've got new 15M supply. Like I can now trade shorts, right? Unless we see nice on the lower time frames, and then I'll just go and figure out what it reacts to and whether it makes sense, because none of these POIs are really that pretty to me at the moment, apart from like this and this one's a 45M doji, I think. So yeah, you might see a reaction from there, but yeah, just keep an eye on it, right? Like right now is not the absolute best time to be looking at anything for me anyway. Like, I mean, obviously you guys might be seeing something different, which is good. Yeah, that would be my views on it this morning.
I always like to remember when you referred to, Sam, a couple of months ago about premium and discount when New York opens, for example. Like, would it make sense for the institutes to sell when it's a discount, when it opens a discount, or would it make sense for it to buy when it's in premium? Likely not. So I always like to kind of wait to see what the beginning of the New York session does first.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Like, yeah, like right now we're trading at premium, right? If we continue to trade up here and then we see, or, you know, we might see, like, we still got, what, 40 minutes to NY Open, right? So they could, like, in theory, hold it here for a bit, then push it down into discount and then buy up, right? Like, there's always, yeah, like this sort of situation, because it's like that whole thing of alignment, right? I was saying to Lewis earlier, it's all fucked at the moment, basically. We've got daily bearish structure and order flow. We've got 4H bearish structure before bullish order flow. We've got 15M bullish structure and bullish order flow. So it's all a little bit broken at the moment. You know, it's not, nothing's really, I can't say, yeah, right, 4H and 15M and daily are all aligned. Let's hit sells, for instance, right? But yeah, like it's going to be like that potentially for the start of this week at least, because we've got, you know, we're going to be trapped within this range. For, you would guess
it's just another complex pullback again. Do you think most likely?
Yeah, that's what it's starting to look like, right? Like the whole way this correction is forming is it's starting to look very complex pullbacky. You know, so it's just waiting for nice things and just waiting and seeing what order flow does and just trading with that, right? Wait to see whether we get a nice 15M shift or anything like that, and then we can act with a little bit more information than we've got at the moment. Because it's, to me, it's a little bit unclear at the moment, personally. So yeah, that would be my views.
Sounds good. Cheers, mate.
No worries, man. Does that make sense to everyone? Is anyone thinking anything different? Is anyone thinking?
That was good. Thanks, man.
No worries, brother. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go and walk my dog. And yeah, have a good session, guys. And we will catch up in the chat in a bit. All right?
Yeah, cheers.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers.